Hello and welcome to another All Tower Media podcast. On this week's Spoilercast, D.A. Roberts joins us for another great episode as we dive into space. We discuss his newest book, The Lost Legion, Perdition's Flame, set in Spellbook Studios' Infinite Black universe. We were so happy to have him return and hope to have him more in the future. Coming up this weekend, Agent Jones and Agent Critic's Choice will be recording the next Agents of Sur along with a new agent. Tune in to find out who it is. They will be discussing this year's Comic-Con and all the great things that came out of it. On August 2nd, the guys from Flick Freaks, as well as Agent Jones, will join the Spoilercast crew for The Man in Black Fled Across the Desert, a Stephen King-based episode. Should be great fun. Also, we wish to thank Spellbook Studios for their wonderful studio where we record Spoilercast. Check out their podcast, Spellcast, for all the latest from them, as well as their game, The Infinite Black. Check them out at spellbook.com for their news forums and links to all of their social sites. Also, D.A. Roberts. Check out his books at darkwaterfiction.com and keep up to date by liking and subscribing to his Facebook page at facebook.com/D.A. Roberts Author. Be sure to also like and subscribe to our Facebook page at facebook.com/alltowermedia and our webpage alltowerpodcast.com, where you can find links to our other social sites like our YouTube page and our apparel shop on Cafe Press. Now perk up your ear holes, boys and girls, for another All Tower podcast, recorded in the final frontier aboard the USS Starship Spellbook.
Hi. How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
So we've started this off rather awkwardly.
No, this is very natural.
Very natural. We're just doing it a little different tonight.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing.
smooth and easy.
Yeah. So just in case you're curious, this is Spoilercast? This is Spoilercast, right?
So far.
So far. Spoilercast by All Tower Media over here at Spellbook Studios.
Is there another podcast, Roper?
Yeah, we've got Spellcast, right?
I've been seeing another podcast.
We've got Spellcast. We also have Flick Freaks, but we aren't actually the hosts of Flick Freaks, but we've been associated with them, so I figured I might as well give them a shout. Hi, guys from Flick Freaks. What is
Hi.
it? What's their thing? Ahoy?
Ahoy.
Ahoy! That's not awkward at all.
It has only gotten weirder.
Yeah.
Since the first time we did it.
You took this joke
I
in a
wasn't-
weird direction, Roper.
I
Shut
wasn't
up.
sure. I wasn't sure it was awkward. Now I'm sure.
Shut up.
Okay.
So like Chips Ahoy or Bell-Bottom Pants Ahoy?
A little of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the voice you're hearing right now, we haven't had on since the very first episode of Spoilercast, and that's author and just all-around good guy.
Philanthropist.
You liar.
Lies and slander.
Slander it all.
So, D.A. Roberts, author of the Ragnarok Rising series.
I thought it was pronounced Da Roberts.
It's
It's
D.A.
it's yes in Russian.
Da Roberts.
Roberts.
That's who this is. How you been? We haven't had you on since months ago.
Yes, but work, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
Pretty much my mantra these days. Between full-time work, I don't need to go into what I do full-time, but the writing has pretty much been keeping me busy. I've got 6-7 projects going, including 2 under contract with J. Ellington Ashton Press. So I've been pretty busy.
Holy crap. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've had him on. So none of the rules have changed. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, probably branch off into some movies and shows and things of that nature that
I don't
relate.
know. We're probably going to stay perfectly on topic this time.
I doubt that very seriously.
Just an FYI, I haven't seen a new movie in probably a year.
Doesn't
Perfect.
matter. See,
I'm not caught up with anything.
The one that I really want to talk about, because your newest work is A Space Odyssey,
Yes.
is Event Horizon. I really like that movie. Jareth, what are your thoughts on Event Horizon?
Well, I love
Movie
that movie.
scares the shit out of
That
me.
movie's awesome.
So you've seen it.
Oh, hell yeah.
See, okay, so we're good.
Sam Neill's awesome.
We've got talking points. So, so tell me about your new book.
This book, even the ship on the front, even kind of reminiscent of the Event Horizon.
Suddenly, Jareth's having withdrawal.
Well, the new book is called The Lost Legion, Perdition's Flames. It all started because of a podcast not unlike this one, actually in the same studio. I think I was sitting in the same spot.
I think I referred to it as Spellcast.
Yes, Spellcast. I was on Spellcast as a guest last October. They were doing a Halloween-themed show, and since my Ragnarok books were zombie books, they invited me on the show. And we yucked it up and had a pretty good time. And at some point during the show, somebody said, "Hey, you should do some backstory for us." And I said, "Hey, yeah, I'd love to." I didn't think any more of it. A couple of days passed, and they said, "Hey, how about you legitimately do some backstory?" So I did some backstory for their Wikipedia, and I also wrote a couple of short stories. And they liked the short stories and said, "Do you think you could turn this into something a little longer?" And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely." So this book is actually born out of a podcast from last October. It's based on the game The Infinite Black from Spellbook Studio, which is an awesome game. If you haven't played it, go to spellbook.com, download the game for free, play it on your phone, play it on your tablet, what have you.
You're taking all my plugs.
Heck yeah. I'm shamelessly plugging
There's
it.
There's a new host now.
Damn it.
Let him keep going.
Thank you, Dire Monkey.
Awesome game, but this is the game is more centered around the actual combat. I wanted to delve more into the characters, and like it says on the back of the book. The beginning of the top says, "In epic space battles that define a universe, there are the lives of the people that call it their home. Spellbook Studio, the company that brought you the Infinite Black game, gives you a glimpse into some of those lives. See their universe as you have never seen it before. Voyage into the Infinite Black." And that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to create unique characters that exist in this game, and to give the game more life than just flying around blowing shit up. And I hope I've accomplished that.
That's all the game is.
I was literally getting ready to say, Dyer, is that what the game is?
Pretty much go around, blow shit up, and collect loot.
And I wanted to explain the mentality behind it, as well as and some of the technology in the game, like their harvester technology, how they will mine asteroids and other things, looking for elements and things. I wanted to explain how that evolved. So I started by creating what I called harvester fleets, which were the precursor to their harvester technology. And I wanted to do something with the history of the game as well as the modern era of the game. So to that end, I created 3 different crews on 3 very different ships, and introduced these characters in order to create a line of books based on each crew.
So you making more?
Oh, absolutely. I've got plans for tons of these things.
What's the next one called?
The next one I haven't actually named yet, but I have started it. It's going to be about the main group of characters. It's they're a group of from a harvester fleet, the Legion, based on the Roman Legion, but with modern dropship armor. And they actually drop these guys from orbit to take over planets. The main character is called. His name is Marcus Aurelius, which, sticking to the Roman theme.
Was he born with that name, or are they given new names upon joining? Or?
Well, what I did was I explained that the corporations became de facto governments as they grew in power on Earth. And as the corporations, when Earth was used up, when they pretty much destroyed all the resources we had, the corporations began taking what belonged to them and leaving. And in order to enforce and protect what they had their own militaries. And each of these corporations had standing militaries way bigger than any current government currently possesses. But their first generations of soldiers were little more than paid mercenaries, and you really can't get loyalty beyond the coin out of a paid mercenary. So these corporations redefine themselves based on their countries of origin, and the corporation that this one's based on is called Fabretti Interplanetary, and Fabretti created their units based on the Roman Legion. And as these generations of troops became born into the Legion, it really evolved into their own identity.
So they kind of steeped all of their people in that identity.
Exactly, to give them a sense of honor and purpose beyond the paycheck.
Wow, and a bit of nationalism there.
I hear that, and I cannot help but think back to the other episode we did about Mad Max, where you said that that's the kind of...
Oh, that's what you want to do?
Yeah.
Essentially brainwashing, yeah.
That's indoctrinating.
That is the mindset you...
you want good soldiers, create a religion that
hinges upon them living and dying for
exactly.
Yeah.
You create something for them to believe in, something that they believe is bigger than themselves.
Right.
Plus, if it's part of your name, you're never really going to get past that. Hi, my name's Marcus Aurelius. I'm not associated with Fabretti at all.
Nope.
Yeah, sure you're not.
You're a liar.
I'm with the Teranishi family. Actually, you wouldn't think it. I make ethnic food.
So
We're
I'm
a startup company.
yeah, it's we've got a Kickstarter account and a GoFundMe.
So one of the first things I
Go
said.
fund yourself.
Everyone
fund
go
my
fund themselves. So one of the first things I said when I looked at this book, naturally, because one of the first things you see in a book is the cover. I noticed the cover is phenomenal. Who was it that did the cover again?
I give 100% of the credit to that cover to the artist, Phil Morrissey. Phil and I, we sat down together and came up with the concept of the cover, but it was Phil that really gave that the depth. And the look I wanted to go for when I first started talking to Phil about it is I wanted to capture the feel of those old 60s and 70s kind of pulpy sci-fi
That's
novels.
definitely what it's
and
doing.
that's exactly what he captured.
Yeah.
And it's got a kind of a mixture of that old oil painting, but at the same time a very high-tech feel with the digital displays.
Yeah.
And I love that cover. To me, it just pops.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
It looks
And
great.
if you look, it completely wraps around.
Yeah.
So another question, the subtitle on it, Perdition's Flames, what's up with that?
Well, the series I'm going to do about the Aurelius character and the Legion is going to be called The Lost Legion, and each one of them will have a subtitle. But Perdition's Flames really gets into the meat of what this story is about. It's the event that draws all three of those crews together. It's basically a crucible. It's what defines these characters. It's how they react in this situation that will define who they are. It'll define their role in all of this, and it'll define what kind of people they are.
That's a good starting point for a series right there.
Yeah, it is. Are you going to have zombies in it?
No, there
Come
won't be any
on.
zombies.
There's not going to be any
Space
space
zombies?
zombies?
When I finish book 5 of the Ragnarok, I'm pretty much done with zombies for a while.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Look, zombies are great, but eventually you do get to a point where you're like, we're good.
I do want to do more horror. I've got plans for a werewolf series that I'm probably going to start later this year. I've got all the notes in place to really get started, get the meat and bones of that going. I will never do a vampire story simply because they've been done to death.
Tell that to our last guest.
But if I did, I can promise you they won't sparkle.
That's the same thing she said.
They'll never sparkle. And
Not even a little?
no.
What
And
if I throw glitter on them?
Well,
Could
they'll probably
Jareth
rip your head off.
Could Jareth be in the story and toss a glitter bomb at one? That would be incredible.
Especially if it then did not sparkle. Like all of the glitter just fell off of it.
Glitter
resistant.
That's how you find out someone's a vampire. It's
You hit
not
him
like
with
they
glitter
don't
bomb.
have...
Glitter won't stick.
hit 'em
So
with a
you know
glitter
there are no
bomb.
vampire strippers.
Well, not good.
Well, yeah, they might work at like Sassy Reds or something.
So Jareth, is you think that a good stripper is one who has lots of glitter? There's no other criteria?
Suddenly this
Mike,
speaks
the
to his
reason
character.
people go to strip clubs is so that they can see boobs and shiny things.
I think you've been
Ooh,
going.
shiny.
I think you've been going to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, they got the round things that are shiny.
All right, buddy. So
This stripper was in a jazzy.
I'd like to point out those aren't boobs.
They
So
look like boobs. They taste like boobs.
Is that why your tongue is all glittery?
that's styrofoam.
No, my tongue
This
is a
conversation
stripper.
went in a totally unexpected
Hey,
direction.
I told you we weren't staying on points.
Point?
So
What's the point?
So bullying ahead. So and so that we can branch out and just not why be on topic. So what? So I know that the podcast is what was kind of the inception of this story. What did you draw on? Sort of what were your influences, book or film or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Well, I wanted to do something that was uniquely my own, thus the groups, the dropship troopers that are based on different characters. And I make mention of another group that's based on Japanese samurai. So I've got plenty of direction I can go with these. And I've got plans to do one that's roughly based on the old Celts. I could do one that's based on the Vikings if I chose to. But I probably won't. I'm probably just going to focus on these Romans and as they evolve. But the other two groups of characters, one is a group of pirates, which is going to have its own quirks because they're pirates and they're pretty heartless. But the group that I'm really looking forward to getting in the meat and potatoes. I kind of drew on my love of the show Firefly.
Okay.
This group, the ship's called the Lady Ziyu, which Ziyu is Chinese for freedom, and it's a group of cargo carriers led by the main character who's the captain of the ship named Duncan Kane. And Duncan Kane's kind
Cool
of
name.
kind of a reformed gunfighter that keeps getting drawn back into it time and time again.
Oh, yep.
But he's kind of a tragic character.
I can't pick out your character reference for that.
Who, Duncan? Duncan actually was one of my characters from a role-playing game, from the Firefly role-playing game.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All the characters on the Lady Z are actually NPCs I made for the Firefly role-playing game years ago.
Oh.
And since I don't play that game anymore, I really hated to lose those characters because we put so much time in them, and they would just plug perfectly into the story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about role playing is like there's a lot of good story that'll happen in those things, but you can't share it with anyone. It was just you and 3 of your friends that did it. You know,
moral of that story: everyone role play.
Hey, that is true.
Well, I've been role playing since 1982.
We're gonna have.
So I've got plenty to draw on.
We're gonna have Diecast coming up pretty quick. And
and we'll get to share that for better or worse.
That is going to be us sharing with everyone.
For better or worse, it will be. Everyone can see it.
Well, funny
it'll be amazing.
Mention role playing games. The guys at All Tower are turning my Ragnarok books into a card game, and
yes, we are,
and it's going to be awesome. I've been checking the cards out. I'm pretty excited about that. And Phil Morrissey, the artist that does my covers for my books, and another friend of ours. I'm not sure if he wants me to mention his name on the air yet, so I haven't asked him, so I won't do it. But the 3 of us are talking about using Google interactive maps and the plot of the Ragnarok series to create an interactive role-playing game that you can play by using the interactive map.
You already have the maps.
Oh, yeah, the map's already up.
Yeah, the maps are up. You can actually go to, what's your site for that?
It's a Google map, Google. But you can link it off my webpage.
You can actually go on there and see where different events within the city actually occur parallel to the story.
Very cool.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's fairly unique. I don't think anybody else has ever done that with a book that's in a real setting. You can go to my old website, which is still up until Darkwater's complete. The old website is ragnarokrising.weebly.com, and the interactive map is on there. If you go there, you can actually go follow the book series with pinpoints on the map and show you where scenes happen. You can actually go down to the street level view and see the actual locations.
Full stop. You said Darkwater. You don't mean darkwaterfiction.com, do you?
Darkwaterfiction.com, absolutely. That's my new website. Darkwater Fiction kind of evolved.
By the way, I have to say this site looks amazing. Whoever's doing your work is wonderful.
Heck yeah, plug the Josh.
Tastios. Now with more sodium.
The Darkwater logo is on the back of the new books, and then eventually we're going to be re-releasing the Ragnarok books with the Darkwater logo.
So what is Darkwater?
Darkwater started out as an idea I had because I'm an independent writer. And you'll notice there's a lot of stigma against independent writers.
Oh, yeah.
I started out with a small company. I won't name who they are, Pendrake Publishing, but I
nailed it.
But I had some.
Those are its initials.
Yeah, I had some problems. We'll just leave it at that. We had a difference of opinion, and I ended up getting my rights back and went on my way. And I don't plan on signing full time with another publishing company because of that bad taste that was left in my mouth, figuratively and literally. Yeah, it was a bad experience. We'll just say it. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not gonna cast any stones at anybody.
So you have the site up for Darkwater Fiction.
Yeah, well, Darkwater is evolving.
But you've also got your Facebook page.
Facebook page is specifically about me, but Darkwater is not going to be just me. It's really going to become almost like a union.
Conglomeration.
Yeah, conglomeration, a cooperation. So, Darkwater is going to become a mini publisher for independent authors. It's I've already got a couple of people interested. I know Roper's going to be putting his stuff out with the logo. Josh is putting his stuff out with the logo. Phil Morrissey's going to be doing his Stellar Babe comic strip with the Darkwater logo. So it's really kind of becoming a mini publisher unto itself. Which is awesome. Everybody's going to help to promote the publisher, and therefore, but the publisher turns, as one person gains notoriety and draws people to Darkwater, it draws them to all of us.
You could say it helps publicize everyone else.
Exactly. It's becoming its own entity.
It's a self-perpetuating entity.
Yeah, it just really started out as an idea. I got it shortly after I met George R.R. Martin. I got to sit and talk with George R.R. Martin when I was a guest at a convention called Conquest in Kansas City back in May. And it was an interesting conversation. But I learned quickly that George is very old school when it comes to publishing. And since I was an independent author, he had a few pointers for me that I probably won't follow. Nothing against George. But I'm gonna continue to set my own course.
It's an ever changing industry, and
yes,
what works
it's very dynamic right now.
What worked for George Martin, he now has that name in that moment. He was published back in like 91 or 89.
His first stuff was published back in the 70s.
So,
and that's back when you had to submit to like Asimov magazine. The only way you got published was to get these guys interested in your short stories, and that was the advice he gave me. Like, you need to get your name in these magazines. Like, these magazines don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And the day of me waiting 18 months for someone to go, okay, well, we'll give you 2% of the royalties when we'll publish it.
Right.
It's like, screw you guys. I'm going to put it on Amazon tomorrow, and I'll make 70%. How about that?
Yeah.
Considering there are people rolling out nothing on Amazon, getting paid tons for it.
Well,
Yeah.
Hugh Howey. And I'll give a big plug to Hugh. Hopefully Hugh's listening. I love you, Hugh. Hugh Howey is the benchmark right now. Hugh Howey set the publishing industry on its ass. And I mean literally. They told Hugh, you're never going to make any money as an independent publisher. Well, Hugh flipped both birds in the air, and he's a multimillionaire because of his own writing. And he will not sign with a publishing company. He does it all independently. And he is the benchmark. He showed us all it could be done. He showed us that you can get a name, established name, and have people like movie companies breathing down your neck for your writing on your own. You don't need Random House. You don't need Dell Publishing to take 70 to 80% of your royalties and pat you on the head and say, okay, well, here's 10 to 15%. Keep writing books. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. I think when it comes to like writing advice that I hear from people who are successful, is the industry's ever changing. What worked for me probably won't work for you.
Yeah.
Because it's just so.
I offer writing advice on my blog, and that's one thing I always tell people. Ask me at conventions. I always tell other writers. Writing is a journey. It really is. It's something that everybody takes for themselves, and everyone's journey is going to be different.
Yeah.
What works for me may not work for someone else.
Yeah, don't try to recreate it.
Yeah, a lot of it is just luck. But I always encourage other writers. But if you're going to publish, if you're going to self-publish, please make sure you take the time to go over your material, have other people go over your material, and put the best product out that you can.
Yeah.
Because there's way too much of it out there that looks like it went from somebody's storyboard idea yesterday afternoon to print.
Yeah.
You want to see? Not to cut you off short or anything, but I've had the privilege of reading some really excellent stuff here recently, and I know good and well that whenever I finally call out the information here, they're going to downplay like nobody's business. But Mike has some friggin' amazing work.
Son of a bitch.
Shut your dirty mouth. Some of his stuff, I've read it, and I got started, and I didn't really have time to sit down and read it, and then I found myself like completely running over what I was supposed to be doing because I was stuck reading what he had written. It is
okay. You're gonna make me
shut up,
blush.
Then blush because it's amazing, and you need to not share it. You need to not share it with anybody but fucking
Never
me.
show it to anyone else.
It's mine. It's mine, and it's mine alone.
It's beautiful, but you should be ashamed.
He shouldn't be ashamed, but he should only get it covered and printed and given to me.
Okay, so can I quickly blow through what you're saying there and go to something else?
No, because I need to.
Can Jareth?
Jareth cannot either.
So,
I need to acknowledge
okay.
how amazing your work is.
Okay, that's strange, and I don't like it.
Well, I'm going to share it with Roberts. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Totally fine. So to backtrack a little bit, you mentioned Firefly.
Yeah.
So Firefly, this is that was like 10 minutes ago, and you mentioned that.
Yeah, I know, right?
We've gone
We've
through
been
so
burning
much.
through so much stuff.
I love it. But to go back to that, Firefly is kind of classically known for its blending of genres. Mm-hmm. So it's Western and sci-fi, which honestly, from
there
my
is no
understanding,
West
it got people like into Westerns, people who like sci-fi, and then it would get, people who liked more earthy stuff into sci-fi, which was really interesting.
Well, I didn't do so much with the Western part for these characters. What I did was I gave it a kind of a mixture of high-end, low-tech feel, much like they did in Firefly, and it's more of a frontier feel.
Okay.
They're not in the
sort of the pioneer vibe.
Yeah, they're out on the fringe. They're where the corporations don't really want to mess with. These are independent freighters and the independent stations, and it's a different world than you're going to see inside the core sectors.
Yes, and that's one of the perspectives.
Yeah, it's
right?
only one.
Okay.
There's 3 different perspectives.
So we have the pioneers. So that sounds like a pretty distinctive feel that we have there. And then what are the other two guys? Is this
there's the Legion, which
Right.
they're very very formal, very structured, very militaristic.
Okay.
And then the other group are pirates. And what I did was I read up on French pirates, the pirates of the Main of the Spanish Main.
Sure.
And that's modeled on those characters. It's going to be central around a group of pirates I call the Crimson Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
See,
So
you keep telling us all about the Roman influence and things of that nature, and I recall at one point in time that I'd passed off the movie Centurion.
Oh, Centurion.
I
Love that
apologize.
movie.
Excellent movie.
There were some historical inaccuracies in it, but
there always are.
I was willing to overlook those because it was a damn good movie.
It's an excellent movie. You're not necessarily doing a futuristic history repeats itself kind of thing, though, are you?
No. They're just structured, and they use terminology and rankings like the Roman Legion. But we're talking guys with high tech armor. These troops,
But they're
are
not.
literally
What I'm
dropped
saying
from
is
orbit.
they're not. You're not taking influence of more than just the names and whatever. You're not taking like quasi events that have occurred within.
There's no
factual
historical
history.
events.
Okay, and trying to rewash it in the light of sci-fi and things of that nature.
What
Look
happened-
at Space Caesar,
Yeah,
Space Ides of March.
yeah.
Yeah. What happened to Marcus Aurelius in real life is probably not going to happen to
Well, this Marcus Aurelius isn't a Caesar. He's a soldier.
He's just a dude.
He's a soldier.
Right,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is you're not planning on making your stories emulate old stories from that.
Right.
No, absolutely
You see what I'm
not.
saying?
These are all going to be unique individual stories.
The only ties across are names and things of that nature. So there's
Exactly.
a similar feel to it.
I wanted the feel, not the historical nature of it.
No, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I think I like
I
that.
wanted them to be organized along the lines of the Legion, but I wanted to use that more as just a backdrop of what they're doing. It's really going to be about the whole focus of the Legion characters is going to be in their integrity and their honor.
Are you going to have Merlin?
No.
Merlin?
Yeah, why not?
Well, he does have one that's going to be a Celtic base, so I mean,
Yeah.
some dude could be
That's
named
what-
Merlin.
What? That's what he started to
He
go
might
with
be
there
a-
for a moment.
To paraphrase, he might be a technomancer.
Ooh. Woo! I'm just casting a wide net here. He's talking about how he's got potential samurais and he's got Celts and pirates and
Lions and tigers and bears.
oh my. Well, in that light, what are the weird?
The Weird were a creation of the game, and I actually did more backstory for the Weird for their wiki article. And only thing that the Spellbook really gave me as guidelines for the Weird, they said they're an enemy race and their ships are insectoid. Go play.
Are they weird?
They're very weird.
True story.
That's essentially what they told me. And so what I did was I thought, okay, why are their ships insectoid? And it made me think, well, maybe they're insectoid. So I started playing with that. And what I created for the wiki and the backstory of the Weird is that they're sentient spiders. And the reason
Gross.
That's not fucked up.
6 legs and their 8th leg are in with articulated hands.
No. No, sir.
That's all kinds of no.
And then I said, okay, why are they after humans?
How
And,
big are they?
Well, there's a caste system within, and the actual workers, the soldiers you're going to encounter mostly are about the size of Shetland ponies, and they get bigger from there.
I don't like any of that.
And,
You have just made the perfect enemy race because I want to kill them.
well, the motivation behind the Weird was they saw the humans as an emerging food source.
Worse?
Jesus
Yeah, you
Christ.
basically.
And it gets even better. If they were to encounter a weird queen, she uses them as living incubators for the eggs.
Okay, so basically you took spiders, xenomorphs, and just like a bunch of other things that nobody wants, and you're like, fight them.
Yeah,
Get 'em.
these are your enemy.
Get him.
Kill them before they eat you.
Hey,
You had me at spiders.
now listen.
Yeah.
If
Chase them with a big ass shoe.
now if one of them just happens to be fucking rainbow colored, I'd die.
A rainbow spider.
Because it would probably appear to be too much of a clown for me. I couldn't do it.
Oh, God.
Well, it's got
has the
it's got
clown afro?
It's got clown face and a bulbous nose.
You
Kind of looks like the top of his mic.
Exactly.
Just get Tim Curry's face, like it's the head.
We all
Stop it.
float down here.
Stop it. So where did you? Okay, so they told you insect. You went with spiders. Why'd you go with spiders? I'm getting the sense of Stormship Troopers. I'm getting Starship Troopers. What the fuck ever.
Well, to
Originally by Heinlein.
Oh, absolutely. But
I think some of our art, if any Tib players out there, the weird Terminus kind of has like a spider arachnid kind of look to it.
Well, to paraphrase Batman, spiders scare me, and I wanted people to share my fear.
So he filled the stars with spiders in space.
They're coming
to
eat you.
You're welcome.
Can they survive in vacuum?
For short periods of
God
time.
damn it!
No, we're all
Like
gonna die.
as short of a period as a human being, or
Oh, no, a little longer than that because of the carapace.
Great.
Like leap from their ship to your ship and scurry into a hatch. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Fuck you.
so basically,
Fuck you.
cock all your hatches shut.
Yeah, weld them.
Fantastic.
And if they've got hands, so if they've got a cutting torch, you're fucked.
What is in
Fuck you.
in hand-to-hand combat, or ground combat, not ship combat? What is their primary method of attack?
We're getting so much information.
Are they
like of
charging
all the
you
things
to
he's
just, like,
explained?
slap you, or
Well, you got to remember
They hit you with their lower pincers, and then they
they're-
drag you up
They're
close
looking
and they
to
eat
keep you as a food source. So their primary mode of attack will be a paralytic poison.
Isn't there a wiki for this?
Yes, there is a wiki on the Spellbook.
My God.
Go to the Infinite Blacks page on Spellbook.com, and the wiki is there, and the whole listing, the whole entry that I created for them.
So, different question then. So, we've got this excellent cover here. Is this cover a scene from the book, or inspired by a scene from the book?
Yes, it is. The ship that's featured on the cover is the Agamemnon, which is the main troop carrier for the Roman fleet, and the planet is the planet that they're after. It's the focal point is that planet. All three different crews, their fates are intertwined to that planet, which is called Hakan Prime.
And are there spider monsters on there?
No, they do encounter the weird there, and there's a ginormous space battle. Planet.
Somebody turned off there for a second. Yep. So I'm assuming that the ship's information, the weird's information, the planet's information, all that stuff is over here at the wiki.
Oh yeah,
So
except for
that's,
the Agamemnon. Those are my creations. They haven't made it to the wiki
But
yet.
they're gonna.
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm getting shrugs from everywhere. So it's spellbook.com /tib, T-I-B, /wiki, W-I-K-I.
Tib is a work on hold at the moment, if you want to say that, while we work on Dire, but Tib could see a new update or a future sequel or something like that, so absolutely there could be room for further storytelling.
I would love to see the Tib wiki feature individual entries or articles about the characters from these books. And to me, if I start seeing in the game, if I see characters showing up with those names, that's when I've done something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, that's when you've done something. It's not the Ragnarok Rising series. It's not the...
You're starting your own publishing company.
None of that stuff.
I hold my breath for the day when somebody decides to name their character Marcus Aurelius other than Turd Burglar. That seems to be what our population of players lean
The
towards.
least common denominator.
Well, you're one to talk, Rob. So I just want to real quick, just want to bring something up. Quote of the day. What I want to do is I want to put this on one of those inspirational wallpapers with
How about we just put it on another shirt?
green rolling hills.
Why don't we
and,
just put it on another shirt?
Like a sunrise. It was. I think my dick shit itself.
I think you missed a jest. I think my dick just shit itself.
Rob. Dyer Monkey.
Yeah.
First name Dyer.
Last
In
name.
quotations, Rob.
Last
Dyer
name
Rob Monkey.
Dyer Rob Monkey.
So, another question also about the book on topic, everybody. I'm the one on topic today.
I think my dick just shit
I
itself.
think my dick just shit itself. That needs to be on a shirt. Josh, that needs to be on a shirt.
How would that run through the Tib filter? I respect this
That would
bacon.
not. Yeah, exactly.
That would actually make it.
It would actually be, I think I don't think there's a word for dick, but just bacon itself.
Somehow that's infinitely worse. I like bacon and all, but come on.
Leaves too much to mystery.
All right, so Jareth's still on point.
So the ship's name is the Agamemnon, which is a Greek name, if I'm not mistaken. So are these all members of the same corporation that's Romany, or is this
Well, if you know your Roman history, they borrowed heavily from the Greek culture. In fact,
one of their origin stories?
All the Greek gods are basically all the Roman gods are all the Greek gods just renamed.
Yeah,
Zeus was Juno, et cetera, et cetera. But
I thought Zeus was Jupiter.
No,
Yes.
Jupiter. I'm sorry.
Yes,
correct.
correct.
But the Roman culture evolved from the Greek culture, so there will still be references. And Agamemnon is just, I wanted that in because I just loved it, because that was Horatio Nelson's ship at the Battle of Trafalgar. And I'm a big student of history. I love history, and I've always wanted to use the name Agamemnon, and I'd get sued if I used Enterprise.
Well,
So it's a thrice borrowed name.
Many times.
The
yes.
Romans borrowed it, and now the company is borrowing.
now America's borrowing it.
No, America doesn't borrow. We steal whole cloth.
We don't give it back.
No, it's never. Once we raise the flag, it's ours, baby.
Yeah, pretty much. I just like that Rome just stole everything from previous cultures. Rome really was.
That's pretty much what every
America
culture's done
before
down
America
through history.
happened.
That's true. That's true.
Every culture has borrowed heavily from the one that preceded it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether that culture is Japanese, Roman, French. It doesn't matter. Every culture that came before it, they've drawn elements from.
French.
So that's another question.
Except for deodorant. The French have never borrowed deodorant from any other culture.
Wow.
Sorry, French readers of D.A. Roberts' books. He doesn't mean it.
Sacre bleu! He is a bastard.
Wow. I got nothing. I'm going nowhere with
Do you
this.
have? Okay.
So you have corporations in this that are in power. They're the de facto governments of this universe, excluding, of course, the weird spiders. That was kind of a pun on accident.
Wow, a little bit.
Whoops.
And each one seems to be taking old school Earth mythologies and like histories and adapting that. Is that taken as a kind of taking a cue from anywhere else, or has that just kind of been a thing that you liked and ran with?
If it's been used somewhere else, I'm not aware of it. It's just something that popped in my head and I ran with it.
I thought you were going to ask if there is an Earth in this fiction.
Earth
he's
is
mentioned it.
there.
Okay.
But going with the theme of the game, Earth was abandoned centuries before because they overused the resources and basically killed the planet.
God damn us.
Well, Earth being gone aside,
By God, we're right on point.
the historical adaptation, like corporations, are kind of similar, vaguely, to BattleTech, actually, but it's tenuous.
Yeah, there are similarities there, but if you look at any story close enough, you're going to find similarities between him and
all
any
the time.
story.
Yeah, well, it's more like they would be in kind of a similar genre of sci-fi, you know.
Yeah.
Like less than anything else, because it's
Only
like that.
none of these guys have mechs.
Unfortunate, because I'd like a robot to fight a giant spider.
That would be badass.
It has like one giant shoe on one of its feet.
It's called the Stomper 1000.
He gets it.
So what are you looking at over there, Roper? I keep seeing you clicking around on the computer.
At the
Looks
moment,
like porn.
Well, it's
Is
not.
it? Are you just looking at porn right now?
The site is actually called Adult XXX Humor Plus 18. So
Are you seriously?
is it?
Just
Is it
go under-
not?
Are you on
Adult?
Are you on a?
XXX Humor 18 Plus? Is it not?
He's not kidding.
Are you on a clickbate humor website right now?
Actually,
At
it's
the
Facebook.
moment. It's
Okay.
Facebook. I'm looking at a picture. It says turtle dicks, never eating pickles again, ever.
You're doing God's
So-
work.
Takes whole new meaning to Cowabunga.
Oh, Lord.
He's got to be on a humor website to keep up with me.
No, I don't. I have the joy of knowing that Dire Monkey's dick shit itself. There is nothing going to be funnier than that for the rest of the day.
You're probably right.
So
No, I'm sitting here trying to figure out a way to tie back across the movie I wanted to talk about.
Well, okay. What I was about to do was I was about to say. So we're talking about Rob's book. We talked a lot about it. And this is a space odyssey. I don't really know how you'd classify it, but I would.
It's not a horror, though.
No, it's about as far away from the horror genre as I could go.
Seems like it predominantly takes place on the ships themselves.
And on some of the space stations. And this next book, a big chunk of it's going to be on the planet Hakan Prime. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to not really focus on the technology or the fact that it's space. It's going to be more character driven.
Sure.
Because the game itself, the game 100% focuses on the combat and looting and acquiring new technology. I wanted to shine the limelight more on the people that live in that universe.
Yeah.
And how dynamically different these characters are.
Right. So from there, I want to draw the line to kind of each of us. We're all lovers of sci-fi.
Yep.
I hate it.
Shut up.
Your dick can go shit itself.
Yes.
Too late.
Kind of what is what is each of our favorite, or maybe just an interesting sort of space odyssey or sci-fi film, movie, video game, book? I know Roper's just chomping at the bit to talk about his.
I kind of am, but I'll go last just because of that.
Okay.
So, Roberts, we'll start with you. I think that's a good place to start.
Great. Right into the spotlight. Thanks,
Well,
Rope.
hell yeah, that's what I do. I toss you out there and make you dance.
Think of all the times people who've listened to the podcast before. He does this to Jareth regularly, and Jareth is like, duh.
Damn it.
Because he was like hoping to be the last one.
I think I'm going to go a slightly different direction because I want to go more toward what really got me to love sci-fi, and it's not so much the movies or the TV shows as the books.
Okay.
It's the same thing, same feel I tried to go with the cover on this book. Mm-hmm. It's those old classic novels that I grew up reading back in the 70s when I was a kid. We're talking Robert Heinlein, Isaac Asimov, Philip K. Dick. If any of you, I'm not just making a joke there about my dick. It's Philip K. Dick is a fantastic writer. He's the author that created Blade Runner, although the original book was called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yep. Phenomenal name for a book, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. But it's those writers, those old school sci-fi writers that really got me to love the genre, and it's what colored my development as I grew and took me into other genres. But I'd say probably the penultimate of those is a book by Robert Heinlein called Glory Road. If you haven't read it, you should, because as far as imagination goes, it just really staggers the mind how creative that book is.
Yeah, I can see where you would draw influence there, because those are books where that's doing what sci-fi should be doing, where they have these big conundrums, these big questions and concepts, and what they do is they have characters who are interacting with those concepts and grappling with them and dealing with them, and the concepts are very interesting, but what makes the book impossible to put down is that the characters are so interesting.
Well, all good books should be really more character driven than they are story driven.
Honestly, yeah.
Because you don't relate to the story, you relate to the characters.
Yeah.
And it's seeing ourselves reflected in these great characters that we've all read or watched on television or seen in movies. It's seeing small reflections of ourselves that really makes you identify with these characters. And when an author does that, when they can make you emote, even on a most rudimentary level, when they draw you in on an emotional level and you feel connected to these characters, that's when you've achieved what writing should be about. It's not about how many books I sell. It's not about all the awards that people can hang on their walls. It's not about being an international bestseller. It's about
get the story out there.
It's about the story. To me, I don't care if I'm ever the guy that people see at a mall and go, "Oh my God, look, it's George R.R. Martin." I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be George R.R. Martin?
No, I don't. I don't want him to recognize
but he has
me
a big
for
beard.
me. Yeah. No, we won't go into that. But
yeah, he'd have a glorious beard if he could. I promise you that.
I grow a very thick beard very quickly, but I'm not allowed to because of where I work. But to me, it's more about whether or not people have read the story. I don't really care for the fame. I'm not in it to get famous. I'm in it to share my stories.
Yeah.
And if the stories are remembered, and some of the comments that I get on my author page is people have read my Ragnarok books 3 and 4 times waiting for the next one to come out. To me, that's success. That's success you can't count as sales. That's success you can't count as awards or ceremonies. That is success when your readers are so connected to these stories that they'll read them a time again.
Yeah.
And to me, you can't ask for more than that.
I love that. I gotta say, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Good answer.
Yeah,
these are all. This is the kind of writer that we need in the independent market.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of creator in general we need.
Yeah.
Of any sort of medium.
But I mean, we're just in dire need of that in the independent market.
Dyer from
Plug
Spellbook
Dyer.
Studios.
Dyer.
Soon.
But
Incidentally, I do write fantasy. So,
Duh.
Spellbook, if you're listening.
Hey. So, Mike.
yeah.
Spacey
the space
stuff.
question. So, like, I guess space travel, interesting characters. It starts with Star Wars for me.
Okay.
It has
I
to.
can see that.
The Star Wars weirdly starts with the Star Wars video games.
Okay.
I played some. Let me see. I played X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter.
Great game.
And then, yes, it was phenomenal. I was 8. Sorry to make you feel old.
He just
to me, the
dated
game was
himself.
Wing Commander.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good game.
Nice.
That was
Yeah.
the game got me addicted to sci-fi games.
Oh man. Yeah, starts with Star Wars and then goes to as I kind of get older. So Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is a
Yes.
I love just character driven.
Yes.
Um,
All kinds of yes.
episodic through space, but it has this vibe of a lot of humanity injected. Because one thing that I think happened before in sci-fi, and kind of maybe the more classic era, is that sci-fi was very cold and foreboding. And what's happened, I think, maybe more recently, is that it's people creators have kind of gone out of the way to make it more, to inject humanity in it. So Cowboy Bebop has a lot of jazz music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kind of influence from like cinema, from like 70s like
Yeah.
kung fu cinema.
I was about to say, it's got a real 70s vibe for future
throughout.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
And then Cowboy Bebop, Firefly again would have to just
Yeah,
you
has
know,
to hit your list.
because again you see all the humanity they inject into that, throughout the, because without that it's a very cold, a very like difficult to get into environment. It's just very foreboding. But that humanity is especially important and accentuated by how dire the situation is.
There it is. Plug.
Jareth?
It's Jareth's turn now.
Yeah, you can steal someone else's answer.
Oh, actually, so Star Wars was a big influence, but it wasn't my first.
Yeah.
Alien, actually.
Oh God, yeah.
The first one, way better than any of the others.
Yeah,
For sure.
The horror
very first
level
one.
on the very first one was so much better when it was just one creature on the ship.
When you were
That
just
one-
stuck there with
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. That one really scared the crap out of me when
It's
I was
also
young.
the first time I ever cursed. I was little bitty, like 3, I think.
Hell?
Yeah. Whenever Ripley's running from the alien, just near the end, and she's trying to get back to the thing.
Yeah.
I said, "Run, bitch, run."
And you were 3?
Yeah.
Nice.
Without missing a
You know,
beat,
that-
my
that-
mom slapped the shit out of it. Just bam.
That's in all the reading primers. Run, bitch, run. See, bitch, run.
Fairly certain there's not a Dr. Seuss book that reads that ever.
I
Well,
do
not one
like
that was
bitch I
published.
am.
I think we should have that on a shirt, too. Run, bitch, run. Josh, take notes.
So I've kind of, I've always really digged the like old school looking sci-fi, like their big screens and like their idea of the
The
future.
flickering screens and all the flashy bulb lights and
Yeah.
Look, they have the blinky light.
yeah.
And the
'Cause-
corporation names that scroll down the side of the building.
Yeah.
Because they've become too long.
It's all
Unless you watch the movie Idiocracy, then it goes over and goes down the side of the building.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little did we know Idiocracy was becoming a documentary.
It is a documentary. It's about where we're going in life. Back to Jareth.
So Alien was a big influence. Star Wars. I probably saw Star Wars first, I think, because my dad's big into that, and he also likes Star Trek. Never really liked Star Trek very much. I know, it's super weird to me. I could never get into their vision of the future. It made me want to slap people.
Too utopian?
Yeah, actually,
That's why I like the Klingons.
we evolved past the need for money. No, that's not happening.
Not
If we-
anytime soon.
if we have bodies, we need money.
I wish to hell they had evolved past the need for money down at the strip club.
Hey,
yeah.
What I wanted
Yeah.
to know on Star Trek.
They
is
operate off of glitter.
if they had replicator technology where they could build, literally create anything they want, how come their bedrooms were totally pimped out? Because mine would be. I'd have all kinds of shit on the walls.
Yeah. No one's greedy.
No one's greedy.
No
and,
one.
Well, then it's not about
What
humans.
the fuck
then
do they want?
and like a single phaser could essentially solve any problem. Those
Yeah.
things were super weapons. But every problem was, oh, my phaser got
Okay.
knocked away.
This has become
Set phasers too frappe.
so
let's shit on Star Trek cast.
I'm like, Star Trek is great. Anybody who loves Star Trek, you're welcome to keep loving it.
And I will.
Jareth gives you permission.
I give you permission.
Thank you.
I had just never got into it. Star Wars I liked, but I've also been a fantasy guy pretty early, so Star Wars kind of scratched both itches.
Yeah. It's honestly almost more fantasy than it is sci-fi.
Firefly wasn't until much later in life, but it was a big influence as well. But as to which one's my favorite, it's hard because all of them are different. Like sci-fi is a backdrop more than an actual genre most of the time.
I mean,
Like-
you could say that about a lot of things, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
when
true.
we say fantasy, basically what we mean is generally not Earth or there's magic involved. But when we say sci-fi, it just means there's some element of it that is not modern technology.
Agreed.
We could talk for days about classification. That's a huge conversation.
That is
I
a
know.
very big conversation.
So like it's a difficult it's difficult to say what my favorite is since I love them all in such different ways.
Roper.
My turn?
Roper's turn.
You
No,
don't-
I'm going to keep rambling for
You-
how long do we have?
No, less than 20 minutes now.
I'm going to keep rambling for 20 minutes.
So, 10. We're at 10 minutes now. We're doing great on time.
No, it looked like Dire Monkey was just riding a roller coaster. He just put both hands up in the air.
Straight in the air. Wiggled his fingers a little bit.
He's
so-
riding an
No, this is a
interactive
roller coaster ride.
virtual
The number
roller
of the
coaster.
So,
minutes is
you actually
10?
don't know what I was going to say.
I don't.
Is
I thought I did, but I don't.
someone here?
No, it was my chair creaking.
Oh, I was about to say, you look like you're watching somebody
I was
behind
checking
you.
out the dragon statue at the
I
end of the
see.
room.
There's a dragon statue down there. I was eyeballing him. So there are
mocking
two movies. One was from 1984. The other one's from 1985 that I just fucking love.
Is one of the movies? Is one of the books 1984?
No.
Okay.
No. The 1984 movie is The Last Starfighter.
Oh, great film.
Great. Okay.
Incredible film.
Yeah.
They had to use a Cray computer to do that computer generation.
That's probably one of the earliest sci-fi movies I can recall ever seeing, and I don't know, it was kind of amazing because it starts off with this kid who's just fucking rocking at a video game,
He's like,
and
I can just play video games and
I
I'll
can-
save the world.
exactly. Well, he doesn't save the world; he saves the fucking universe.
Yeah.
And it was like
Sir, and the Codon Armada.
it was just I just loved every second of that, and the fact that.
And the hero was a video game.
Yeah,
version.
it's that, it's
He was you.
yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying just a minute ago. I sat there and I looked at it and I'm like, it's not plausible, but it makes it where they take
But
just
is
this.
it possible?
It takes this.
And the character was totally relatable.
Yeah, it takes this completely ordinary person and then just tosses him out here into the universe and makes him the most important thing there is, and he ends up saving everything. And I found something really awesome about that. And then the other one was 1985, Enemy Mine.
Oh, great film.
I
Lou
love
Gossett
that.
Jr.,
I'm
great.
not familiar.
You haven't
Yeah,
seen
you
Enemy
should rent
Mine?
that.
No.
Wow.
Enemy Mine?
Enemy Mine.
Mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great film.
David Quaid?
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah, he
Really, they're like after the movie starts, they're really the only two characters in it.
It's it's human beings versus an alien race, and they're in a deadlock war against one another. And then these two during
During a space battle, get shot down in the same
and they
empty
crash on this
planet.
this desolate planet, and then they have to learn to survive with one another. And as
They have
things
to
go
learn to rely
along,
on each other because they're going to survive without each other.
and as things go on, they become friends, and they learn to communicate and
Don't
Then
give away the
become
spoilers.
lovers.
Well, the alien of the two actually does at one point in time create offspring because it's just how their system works. They're asexual, if I recall correctly. But it's their children are supposed to go through some kind of rite of passage, and it's supposed to be their father that actually goes before their elders and recites this big long family title type deal
Little lineage.
and this alien that's now became his friend is like, it's not going to happen for my kid. And he learns this alien's entire lineage in order to do that for his son at the very end of the movie. And it's because, everyone is just deadlocked against one another. And human beings actually show up to cultivate the planet late in the movie. And the kid that he's now taken care of because his friend has since died ends up getting abducted by these humans. And they're forcing the kid into slave work, and he shows up and fights off all the humans to save him, and it's like really messed up, and everybody's like, what the hell? And
it's a great movie.
It's a really good
don't
movie.
Give away. If they haven't seen it, don't give it away.
Sounds
what do you
interesting.
think this is? This is Spoilercast.
It's a lost
Spoilers.
cause. Roper has no self-control. He has to spoil everything.
It's what I'm doing. It's my thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's really good. Plus, there's the part.
And I was there when he nearly spoiled an episode of
Shut your dirty mouth, or I'll tell them about the time you almost killed a person. So
that was a spoiler. Big spoiler.
So there was that time where you and I were both homicidal.
Roper and I have known each other a long time.
Long time. But no, the one of the funniest.
Since Roper had a goatee and I had hair.
Yeah, that's been a minute. That has been a minute. But in Enemy Mine, you remember the part in the movie where they're arguing with one another, and the alien in it, he what's his face?
Gossett Jr.
Quaid looks at him and mocks their god.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you shouldn't have made fun of Mickey Mouse." It's one of my favorite
The
parts.
humor's pretty subtle.
Yeah,
But it's really good.
It kind of reminds me of the line from Guardians of the Galaxy where he's talking with Gamora and he's telling her about Kevin Bacon.
Oh, yeah.
And later in the
We'll
movie,
be just like Kevin Bacon.
and later in the movie, she's like, "We're just like Kevin Bacon."
Yeah.
Well, who put the sticks in their butts?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing goes over my head. I would catch it. My reflexes are too fast. Best line
See,
ever.
the problem I have with that is they sit there and they set him up as this person who takes things perfectly literally, right?
Yeah.
Into the movie, as he's walking out, he's not satisfied at the fact that he killed the accuser because he's just a puppet. Thanos is the one he needs to kill. What the fuck is that? That's a metaphor.
Oh, puppet?
Yeah, he
think
he recognizes metaphors.
Yeah, he kind of...
I think he picks and chooses.
Eventually,
it's
like...
mixed metaphors.
I
Kind of
think
like
he
mixed martial
learned.
arts, only with words.
I think he learned throughout the movie.
Do ya?
Because he didn't attack some of the ones that were starting to happen after a certain point, so...
All right. So we're at, right now is the end of the episode, and I think the Dire Monkey is giving me the 5-minute marker. Yes.
Dire Monkey's getting ready to fling poo at us.
Exactly. That's how we end every episode. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap things up here by going back through and plugging all your stuff. So darkwaterfictions.com.
Yes.
darkwaterfiction.com. You need to make sure you get over, check that out. You got to get over to his authors page, D.A. Roberts authors page. Give him likes, give him shouts, tell him you've read his stuff.
Sweet.
So, Darkwater Fiction...
Actually, go read his stuff.
Just real quick, Darkwater Fiction. Let's say that there are writers listening to the show. Maybe they have books. Should they contact
Email
you
you?
about
Go ahead and
that,
get a
or-
hold of me. My email address is through the website. It's daroberts@darkwaterfiction.com. Even if you just got questions about writing in general, feel free to email me. I always take time to answer questions and help people if I can.
Cool.
And if you can't get in touch with him because somehow that's not an option, you can always reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, mjroper.com, and I'll definitely get you in touch with Mr. Roberts over here. That's not an issue at all. Mike, you have anything you want to add at this point in time?
No, not really. The diecast is going forward.
Yes,
We're going to
yes.
record here in a couple weeks.
Yep.
It's a little later than I thought. We're recording on August 9th, so I expect the podcast probably to be released nearing the end of August.
Okay.
So,
And we should have Flick Freaks on here, I believe, this next episode that we record.
okay.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
When is that? Since our schedule's kind of crazy right
2
now.
weeks from today. We're back on our old schedule. That's
Excellent.
to accommodate for this guy right here. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
we can have D.A. Roberts on whenever we want him on. And
The
that's,
patriarch.
That's what this is. So we're
It's going to make me an offer I can't refuse.
you're welcome on here anytime you want.
I'd love to, man.
So we appreciate you being on with us tonight. You need to make sure you get over to our website. Spoilercast website is actually titled as alltowerpodcast.com. You can go there and check out all of our sites. We're pretty much linked up with everything thanks to Josh, and you can find all of our previous episodes there. You can even find the All Tower shop and get yourself all these shirts that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
Go buy yourself a shirt. I've got my shirt on. Everybody like my shirt?
All Tower Media.
It feels
I need
very
one of
nice.
those.
It's very nice. Jareth, you want to add anything?
Nope, got nothing.
Glitter? No glitter?
No glitter? No
Fine.
glitter bomb?
I'm
Space
keeping all the glitter for myself.
Space spiders.
Keeping the
Biatch.
space spiders, too.
With a clown face.
I'm going to put glitter on them, and I'm going to rule the world.
You with your toasters.
It's going to ride a giant humanoid spider into battle.
That would be terrifying.
Damn.
No one will
Well,
fight
dressed,
me.
dressed as a clown.
Jareth wearing his wizard hat, riding a giant space spider, throwing glitter bombs everywhere.
I think I found your new profile pic for Facebook.
We need to make that a thing. So, check us out, like us on Facebook, watch our shows, listen to our shows, share our shows, read D.A. Roberts' books, go over and check out The Infinite Black over at spellbook.com. Make sure you check out Dyer, keep tabs on it because it's up and coming. Other than that, boys and girls, it's been a great episode.
Yeah.
I've had a ball.
Giant robot spiders and shitting dicks. We did it. We
Title
covered
of the
it.
episode.
Sounds like a Sunday.
Exactly. Boys and girls, you guys be safe. Thanks for being on with us.
Bye, Internet.
Dick shit.